Hey everybody, David here, and we are back with another video. Hopefully you all are doing well, and in today's video I have a fragrance list of gym scents for you all. So I had a comment in a past video asking about gym scents, and I gave a little sneak peek, so if you saw that, you probably know two of the scents that are going to be on this list, but I wanted to get it out there for you all. These would be some scents in the designer realm. I want to, in a future video, I don't really wear niche when I'm working out, but I will make a niche video if you're interested in wearing any gym scents with niche perfumery. But with the niche ones, they're just so expensive. I just don't want to wear them when I'm working out just because you sweat. The fragrance doesn't last as long because it usually washes off because all that sweat and all that jazz. So when I go with gym scents, and if you see me in previous videos, I've talked about I do work in a gym. This is going to be more when I'm working out, not when I'm working. So actually working, doing my job. But I usually test out fragrances then, but we're talking about the actual working out part. So, and if you know, this channel is a fitness and a fragrance video, so hopefully you've been keeping up with those, so now you'll have a fragrance to go with your workouts. And I wanted to give some shout outs to a few fragrances that I did not include in this list that I wanted to show some love. I've kind of talked about them a little bit too much, or I felt like these are better suited just for this video. But the Acqua di Gio line, any of those would work very well in the gym. I didn't want to include those because I talk about them a lot on the channel. Any Azzaro Chrome Flanker, very cheap from discounters. You can get them at a reasonably priced. They have some heavy hitters in there, but they do have some misses in that line, so just be careful which one you get. Also, too, Prada Luna Rossa, Ocean, Carbon, and the OG, they all work as well in the gym. They'll be nice gym scents to get you possibly noticed as well. And then the last but not least, I wanted to give it to the Coach for Men. It's a versatile blue fragrance that very well rounded, and it would be well suited for the gym, very non-offensive. And when we're talking about gym scents, you kind of want something clean, fresh, citrusy, non-offensive, because usually when people are working out, they're getting hot, the gym can be very clustery, so we don't want something like resinous, heavy, sweet, gourmandish. That might give people headaches and stuff. Might even give you headaches as well. I've worked out with some fragrances before when I've been in the gym, and I have got some headaches because I wore something heavy. So you just got to look about that and maybe dial your sprays back if you want to do that. I wouldn't recommend, like I said, wearing like a winter or fall scent in the gym. But I wanted to include these designers over here. A lot of them are very cheap from discounters and overall fit that setting very well. But you know what I mentioned before, always get your sample, always try it out. And then also, too, I don't like to pigeonhole the fragrances. So a lot of these would work very well in that spring and summertime, too. And with all that being said, let's hop into these gym scents. First one on this list today that we're going to be talking about, it is from the house of Jimmy Choo, and it is Jimmy Choo Man Aqua. You could also go with Ice. I've heard that one's really good. I do not have that one in my collection, so I wanted to include Aqua on here again. Man, very appealing citrus off the top with that grapefruit. You are getting some cardamom, so you are getting a little sweetness in here. But this also has some marine notes in the heart, and then it's got patchouli and seaside moss in the base with some amber to give it a little woody feel with that patchouli in that base, and then you got the spicy feel with that amber. But I do get a lot of that grapefruit off the top, sweet cardamom. That grapefruit's going to be more in that sweet, creamier side, not the grindy type of grapefruit you're going to get with this one. Decent projection, decent longevity with this one for sure. Jimmy Choo Man Aqua, you can't go wrong with this at the gym. Gotten a few compliments with this when I have worn it at the gym. And this has got the whole DNA that you are looking for, in my opinion, when you are looking at a gym scent. It's aquatic, citrus. It's got a little woods in the base. And, usually you want woods in the base to make it last a little bit, but the woods don't come down until the dry down, of course. And that freshness is going to be there the whole time. So first one on this list, Jimmy Choo Man Aqua. Next one we're going to be talking about, and as you could tell, this one was the first one on that comment that I gave to one of my subscribers. Second one is going to be from that comment as well, so you got a little sneak peek for this video. And this is no other than Versace Pour Homme. Man, this one a very well round. Like, you know, a lot of people say it's synthetic, which it is, but you're going to be very happy for the price you get this at a discounter. And, you know, Versace's a name that people are going to know. So if you want to wear something and a designer everybody wants to know, I would highly recommend the Versace Pour Homme for the gym. And this one right here, it's got that DNA that you're looking for in that gym scent. Again, it's fresh, aquatic, synthetic, floral, and citrusy. I will say, as this fragrance starts down, it's not woody like this Jimmy Choo Man Aqua. This is going to be more on the floral side of things, but at the top you got some lemon, you got some bergamot, you got some neroli, and then the mid, you got some cedarwood, clary sage, geranium, and then the base you got some musk, amber, and tonka bean. And this one overall gets more floral and sweet as it dries down, but at that start, that lemon's going to be there. At least to my nose, that lemon's going to be there throughout the fragrance. This one's a good office scent as well. Very unoffensive. Some people say, as you see from the Accord, it's synthetic, but overall, this one will work in any situation. This one I'd be wearing all year round, and the performance is very well for me off my skin. I do get decent performance, so longevity. I will say the projection isn't as good as the longevity, but overall, this, in my opinion, will last longer than the Jimmy Choo Man Aqua off my skin. And at the start, it's going to be that fresh citrus aquatic, and then it's going to get more to that floral side of things with the freshness, okay? So Versace Pour Homme, can't go wrong with that. Designer, usually everybody knows, and it's a versatile scent overall. Now the next one, this is going to be a blue scent. This is going to be from a blue line. And this is the old formulation, but I'm talking about the 2022 version, and it is no other than YSL Y. So Yves Saint Laurent Y. Like I said, I got the Homme formulation, and this thing is pumping out of this bottle, I will say. And it is fermented pretty good. In a future video, I'll talk about fermentation and, you know, your fragrances so they can last longer, some tips and tricks you can do. But this one was one of the fragrances I got along with Dior Sauvage when I hopped back into fragrances, the YEDT. But now there's a 2022 version, and in my opinion, it's a little bit better. But this one, if you have this one, still does the job. And don't look for the 2017 version, because that's the one that I have. Go with the 2022. Don't spend the extra bucks for that if you want to get this fragrance. And I went with the Eau de Toilette just because it's more well-rounded, more fresh. And you could go with the YEDP Intense. That one's a good one as well. But the YEDP or the Y Le Parfum or the Y Elixir, those are just going to be too sweet, too powdery, too out there, too robust, I will say, in my opinion, to pull off in the gym unless you dial your sprays back, especially the EDP and the Le Parfum. I haven't really got my hands on the Elixir, so what I'm just saying from that is, looking at the notes, that just looks a little bit too heavy to my nose. But hey, if you want to try the Elixir out in the gym, if you have a sample, try it out for yourself, see how it works for you. It might work good, but overall, I feel like those three won't do as good as this one or the Y EDP Intense. That's just my opinion about the thing. So this one's fresh, sweet, synthetic, fruity, and spicy. And I will say with this one, you got the ginger, and I get the ginger throughout the whole fragrance. You got some bergamot in up top. You got some geranium, clary sage, and lavender in the heart. And then the base, you got some ambergris, you got some cedarwood, you got some frankincense, and you got a little vanilla on the outskirts of the fragrance to make it a little sweet overall. I will say with this fragrance, as it dries down, it goes from more of that fresh, sweet type of feel to more of that fruity and spicy type of feel. But throughout the whole fragrance, you're going to get that syntheticness. And throughout the whole fragrance's lifespan, I do get that ginger. And, you know, I mentioned how it's kind of fruity a little bit. There's not really a lot of fruits in this, but I think that bergamot and that ginger gives it a fruity feel. And then along with those florals coming out as well, kind of helps out with that. But like I said, this fragrance starts out fresh, starts out fruity, and then it gets into more of the sweet and spicy aspect of things. Excuse me, can't speak, tongue twister. But overall, I would recommend the Y EDT over any of the other ones, or the Y EDP Intense. So be looking out for that one. Sample it if you're interested. And this one's, out of all three I've talked about so far, is going to have probably the best performance, probably close to this the Versace Pour Homme, this performance is going to be very nice. But this is going to pump a little bit more, at least off my skin, compared to this. So overall, I can't go wrong with this one. Very mass appealing, very easygoing fragrance here. Now, next one's kind of a curveball. I haven't really talked about this brand a lot. Really like Boss Bottled Elixir. So, you know, we're talking about Hugo Boss here, and we got Boss Bottled Tonic. They do have that Triumph Elixir. I can't wait to get my hands on. I haven't tried it yet, but I really enjoy that Boss Bottled DNA. And if you know Hugo Boss, at one time they were just releasing Boss Bottled Flankers left and right, this and that and the third. A lot of them are forgettable, and I'm not too sure if you can still get Boss Bottled Tonic, but overall, from the ones in my collection, I do have Boss Bottled Pacific, but I feel like this would be the better choice for that gym situation. Man, this one is a nice fragrance, you know. It's very cheap from discounters. When I got it, got my bottle, I think, for like 35 bucks. So not too bad of a deal. So this one right here, it's got, as you can tell, a lot of reoccurring accords. So synthetic, fresh, citrus, fruity, and woody. And off the top, you're going to get a little sweetness from the apple. It's got grapefruit, lemon, and bitter orange. And like when I talk about grapefruit, you know, I always like to mention if it's grindy or sweet or creamy. This is going to be more of like the Jimmy Choo Man Aqua here. It's going to be more that grapefruit sweet, appealing, kind of creamy, not grindy so much. But throughout the life of the fragrance, I do get these citruses coming out through start to finish. The heart, you got some cinnamon, you got some geranium, you got some ginger, and then the base, you got some vetiver. I get the vetiver, I get the ginger, I get the cinnamon, and the cinnamon's going to help a little bit, give it a little spicy edge. So what I mean by that is you got the citruses, and the citruses are going to go with that spiciness of the cinnamon. It's going to combine to be a very nice smelling Hugo Boss bottle flanker. And then in the base, as it dries down, you're going to get that vetiver coming out more and more as this fragrance dries down. Overall, Boss Bottled Tonic, kind of a curveball here. I don't see a lot of people talking about it, but it will work well in that gym situation. Let me twist that bottle around real quick, just make sure it's all lined up and good. Let me scoot these. I got two more for you all. Next one we're going to be talking about is from one of my favorite cheapy houses from discounters. They also have a new one. I think it's John Varvatos XX Intense. Like I said about the Boss Bottled Triumph Elixir, I can't wait to get my nose on that one for sure. But we're going to be talking about the OG Artisan. I know a lot of people like to talk about the Artisan Pure in the community, which that one I really enjoy. And I do actually get decent performance off that one, which is surprising because that first one I wore, I didn't really get very good performance, but I do get decent ones. And that's the thing John Varvatos is known for, is not very good performance. Their fragrances, in my opinion, smell very unique in the designer realm, but they just don't last. The older ones. Now, I've heard the intense one's actually pretty good on that longevity, I've heard, but I got to get my nose to it to try it out. I got to get a sample. But we're going with the original Artisan. This is the one we're going to talk about today. Got the basket woven bottle here. And this Artisan here, basically some accords you're going to be getting: fresh, citrus, woody, spicy, fruity. And then, so this one's going to have a little bit more focus on the orange aspect of the citrus. So we're going to be looking at clementine, orange. It's got some thyme, it's got some lavender, and it's also got some tangelo. I've never heard of that. I do not know what that note is, but I think that clementine and that mandarin orange is the thing I get the most out of this one. I do get that lavender from the opening as well, very prominent. I do not know what tangelo is. Have to look it up, educate myself on that one. But this has a lot of unique notes in it that I've never seen in some fragrances. So this has got a base of some orange blossom, orange jasmine, and then it's got some ginger, and then in the base it's got some Georgie wood, and it's got some, I'm just going to leave it at that one because there's some other ones I do not know and I've never smelled before. So overall, this is going to be a very orange forward fragrance. This is going to be a little bit more on the fresher side of things compared to the Artisan Pure. That's why I chose this one. Artisan Pure is going to be more creamy. This one's going to be more fresh and citrusy. I will say the citrus comes out in a different way in the Artisan Pure. The Artisan Pure is going to be that creamy citrus. This is going to be that fresh citrus, so peeling off the top. And kind of what I mentioned with all these before, very citrus forward off the top. As you go down into that dry down, this is going to get more into that spicy, woody feel. And, you know, you can spray this on a lot. Nobody's going to get offended by it. Very cheap from discounters. This is a 4.2 ounce. So, and very good deal. Like I said, you can get it. And overall, wanted to go with the Pure, show it some love. Where it's, or not the Pure, excuse me, Artisan. I wanted to go with the OG Artisan to give it some love. So, because a lot of people want to talk about Artisan Pure. Last but not least on this list, I'm going to scoot over my laptop, scoot these over, give it some room, is we are going to be talking about Lacoste, and we're going to be talking about L1212 Blanc Eau Fraiche. So this one right here, man, I will say out of all these, this one here is going to have a very, like, this one's like the Artisan. It's going to have a very different appealing citrus compared to these four. These four I feel like are kind of in the same realm, other than the Versace a little bit. It's got a little bit more of the lemon feel, but all these have some sort of similar citrus kind of aspect. These two are kind of more different, I will say, to my nose at least. And this one's gonna, here we go with the chords again. You probably already know. It's fresh, citrus, synthetic, sweet, and fruity. And off the top, this has got that nice, elegant grapefruit, ginger, and lemon opening. So what I mean, it's not something that's going to reinvent the wheel, but that's not what Lacoste is known for. But they usually do these citrus forward fragrances in a very nice, appealing way. And that grapefruit, ginger, and lemon combines. And I get more of the lemon and the ginger combined, and it gives it sort of a tea-esque feel to it. So I do get that grapefruit from this one, but I get more of that lemon, more of that ginger off the top. And then as the fragrance dries down, you're going to get some apple, you're going to get some lavender, you're going to get some juniper, and in the base you got some vetiver and cedarwood. Overall, I get all those notes in this right here, and that vetiver is something that's going to be appealing. It's not going to be a dirty, earthy vetiver. Cedarwood, you get that with this as well. It's mainly all woods as this fragrance dries down, of course, but in that mid, it's kind of unique in the sense of apple's usually in an opening, but they got it in the mid here, and it's going to be that sweet apple, and I can smell the apple from the opening as well, but you're going to get a lot of that in the mid, and the juniper combines with the apple to give it a little kind of synthetic, not synthetic feel, I guess more of that spicy feel, but even though this doesn't have a really feel for it, it's kind of like a sharp, is guess what I'm trying to describe. That juniper is going to give it like a sharp kind of esque to this fragrance, and that lavender is going to be there for that basically sweet aspect of things. So fresh, citrusy. As you dry down in this fragrance, you're going to get that apple in the mid. Apple, very appealing. The juniper is going to give it like a sharp type of feeling. So, you know, what I mean by sharp is I don't mean like somebody like picking you with a needle or something like that. What I'm trying to say is sharp is kind of like when you say, hey, you know, when you look at a guy or something and you're like, hey, you look sharp in that suit. So just kind of like something like sharp, kind of taking the edge off per se, and it really hits your nose like boom, like right out there. That's what this juniper is going to do. So enough of me rambling on. Here are my gem scents. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below what you all use for your gem scents. I'll be very interesting to hear. In maybe a future video, I might make a niche list for gem scents. But overall, let me know out of all these, if you've tried them, what the most appealing one is to you, which one you want to try. I'll be very interested to hear. With all that being said, I will see you all on the next